How's everybody doing? Today is July 18th, 2016. I'm in the Scientists and Inventors book again. I'm on the page of Sir Benjamin Thompson. I believe I already talked about this guy in a previous video, but just some ideas here. Since we're all aware that general relativity is, nonsense, it doesn't make any sense at all. I was thinking about gravitation again. What could be causing gravitation? What could be in nature that might be absent, which causes gravitation? And I'm on the lines of friction, heat, and motion. And an idea that I was just thinking about is, imagine a frictionless environment. Say you hold on to a pen. Now, you wouldn't be able to hold on to the pen would just slide out of your hand. The pen wouldn't be able to write because the ball that the pen uses would have to roll against the paper. It wouldn't be able to write. And even the pen itself might just fall apart because the way a lot of the stuff here is just friction holding it together, like the back of it, or the rubber or whatever. And even in your house, like I have cats in the house. If they were to be running around, they would perpetually be sliding from living room to the bedrooms, to off the counters in the kitchen. They would be sliding all over the place. They wouldn't be able to get their bearings very well. It would be quite interesting to see that happen. Buildings would probably fall down because there's a lot of intermolecular friction between the concrete. And bolts work off of friction. When you tighten a bolt, the friction of the bolt and the nut together keep it together, so they might slide apart. Trees would maybe fall down or fall into the ground further, or be slumped over, or maybe even fall apart. We're talking about complete chaos. And then I thought about, well, frictionless, and I went onto Wikipedia and I saw this Galileo's frictionless plane, and I thought, ooh, that's a pretty cool idea. Now imagine if you have an inclined plane and you have a box on it, and the plane is frictionless and you have no air resistance naturally, and gravitation, is pulling things down. What would that box do? How fast would it be able to travel if there's no air resistance? And how big could you make that plane, given you could have it at a very, very small angle, maybe like 1 or 2% incline, 100% incline meaning 90 degrees. I wonder how fast you could make that box travel. Like instead of a box traveling in a friction, or in a no air resistance environment like on the moon, it would travel, proportionally to how strong gravitation is. But what if you have the inclined plane? How much faster would it go if given the same drop in height? So you have a drop in height, maybe around 100 feet for just dropping of the box onto the surface of the moon, or you have a drop in height of 100 feet, but the inclined plane is stretched out to around 10,000 feet, maybe even 2 miles, or whatnot. How much faster would it travel if you took the friction away from the object? And also, I want to talk about that because friction is a large reason why there's a lot of heat loss, or there's a lot of heat production inside of cars, inside of vehicles. The pistons rub against the interior walls of the block and produce a lot of heat. It makes things incredibly inefficient because of the heat production. And if we could design pistons that have friction, a very low friction type surface, we can make cars more efficient. Or the gearbox, if you can make different types of plastics, or very, very strong plastics. I'm not talking about the kind of plastic you use for bottles, but like Kevlars and things like that. You can make transmissions with those kinds of things in them to increase the power to the wheels, so there's no energy loss from that. As well, other friction loss benefits, they're all over the place. And if we could think about nature in that kind of terms, instead of constantly trying to make sense of what establishment science is offering, the nonsense of somehow space and time are physical, like that doesn't do us any good. It hasn't helped us in 100 years. We still don't know what causes gravitation. So we should, be moving away from that and sort of look at different things in different perspectives and see if we can discover something there. And for this talk, I guess the friction part of nature, just think about the world around you if there's no friction. And it's weird because people don't usually do that. And maybe you might, make a discovery somewhere in there, or have a new idea pop up. But anyways, I think I made this talk long enough. Take it easy, y'all.